Okay, welcome again everyone. My name is Jordan Dayton, and this is the instructor training for Wiley College. It is November 4th, 2014, and we'll jump right into it. You guys should be able to see my screen. What you're looking at right now is what's referred to as the global dashboard. This is every Canvas user will see right when they log into Canvas. And you might see different kinds of notifications here. There are new assignments or maybe a new discussion in one of the students' classes. It's kind of like Facebook. If any of you have used Facebook before, when you have a feed of new information or recent activity that's taken place, it will show up in this feed. And if there's something that's unread, you'll see a little blue dot next to it indicating that you haven't read or you haven't seen some of these items. And then you click on the link to go into that item. And notice that they might be in different courses as well, and the course name will be indicated in there. So they might see a few different assignment notifications for different courses in which they're enrolled. And they can cross these off and clean up their notification screen if they want, but that's how it works. Also a to-do list. For students, it would show them the assignments that need to be completed, coming up that are due right around the corner. And then for teachers, it's showing you what needs to be graded, because then of your assignment as a teacher, right, to make sure that you grade the assignments that your students have completed. Below that, you see what's coming up, and this is populating from the calendar, different assignments or events that are coming up. And you may or may not see a start a new course button. I presume your courses will already be created for you, so you won't need to click start a new course button if you do see it. But just be aware that that may or may not show up for you. And what you're looking at the top of the screen, everything above this red line that I just drew, this is called your global navigation. And global meaning it's always going to be there. It doesn't matter where you navigate in Canvas. With the exception of a couple places, you will see this global navigation, which is nice because you can quickly toggle from one course to another. And this is great for students, again, for the same reason. If I'm in my biology course and I want to hop over to my physical education course, I can click on the link and it takes me over to physical education. I can do the things that I need to in that course and then bounce around very easily. Another thing you should be aware of as teachers, this is really important. You may not see this item that says groups. And hey, if you're doing any group work, your students will see that this says courses and groups. And they'll see a listing of the groups in which they are enrolled. And groups are very similar to courses. It just lacks a bit of the quality that a course does. And it's meant to be a collaborative space where students can work together, share content, share ideas, have conferences, all kinds of fun stuff. So just be aware that don't feel bad when you log into Canvas, it only says courses. That just means you're not enrolled in a group, and that's why you're not seeing that. Page will take you in to check out all your courses, and then you as a teacher can click on any of your courses, and then it takes you directly to the grade book. For students, it will take them to, they see the same thing, they see all of their courses, and then they can click on the link to go to their basic report card or their progress report for that course. It takes them to kind of a comprehensive view, and I'll show you the calendar a little bit later, but the calendar gives them a nice comprehensive view of different things that are taking place across all of their courses, aggregated into one single calendar. So that's a really nice view that allows them to see everything at a glance. And they can see the current date and see exactly what assignment is coming up next across all of their courses. The last thing I want to talk to you about in terms of the global navigation is this area in the top right corner. This is what we call the help corner, and probably for obvious reasons. That's where you go to get help. You can click the help link. Hopefully you guys know about the Canvas guides. I believe we have over 1,200 different guide lessons that teach you how to use Canvas. always the first place I go. If you ask me a hard question and I'm not quite sure of the answer, I always look at the guides first to see if an answer that exists. So just know that before you ask anyone for help, you might want to check out the guides because you'll probably find an answer there. And then you can, if you don't find your answer in the guides, you might search the Canvas community. This is where you can talk to other Canvas users across the world. People are just like you teaching students within Canvas, and ask them their perspective on things. How do they like to administer certain types of assignments or quizzes or something? And ask questions, and sometimes you'll even get quicker responses through asking the community a question than you might by reporting a problem. Because our community is very active, everybody's very active to make sure that other people are successful and having a great experience using Canvas. We have an awesome community. And then of course, if there's something that a feature in Canvas that we don't have that you really want or really need, tell us why. And request a feature, let us know what your needs are. And the last thing, this is very important. If you guys have any issues while you're in Canvas, don't leave Canvas and go and try to send us an email or something. On the very page where you're having a problem, immediately come here to help and on report a problem. And if you do that, Canvas will look at all of the data about where you are located in Canvas and what browser you're using, what operating system you're on, and other information that will help us be a little bit more successful in troubleshooting your problem. And then just identify what your issue is and submit the ticket, and then we work with your team to make sure that your problems get resolved. Okay? So just know you're never alone. If you remove something from this training today and you think, oh, I totally remember that we can do this, but I don't remember how, then check out the Help Corner and try to find the answers in the guides or talking with the community. And likely someone will be able to point you in the right direction very quickly. Another place that you can go in the Help Corner is the inbox. This is an area that allows you to interact with your students through messaging. You can see a list of all the messages that you've had with all of your students in the list on the left. And if you click on any of those items, you'll be able to see the conversation that's taking place back and forth between you and the student. So now I have my message here, and then someone responded to me. Okay, so that's basically how this will look when you guys are communicating back and forth with your students. And there's a variety of message types that you might have as you're looking in your inbox. You can have individual messages with just one person, or you could have a message perhaps that you sent to your entire class. So it's up to you how you want to send messages. If I want to send a message to folks in my art appreciation class, I go to the course, find students. Do I want to just send it to one student or maybe all of my students? And I'm sending a message now to all of my students. Do I want them to receive individual messages, so getting private messages? If I leave this unchecked, it's going to be a group message so that everybody will be a part of the message. If anyone replies, it's basically like a carbon copy. Everybody else will get the response that anyone makes. So be careful about sending individual, or be careful about sending group messages, because it might make it so that when replies, it goes to everyone. And then also notice you can add attachments. One thing that's a little bit different about the messaging system in Canvas is you have the ability to record audio or video comments. Teachers love this because you can say a lot more in a couple seconds than you can in typing something out. So you can use your webcam on the fly or your microphone and quickly record a message and send it off to your student or students. Or have an audio or video file that you want to upload, you can do that as well. This is what's called our media comment tool. I'll show you this a little bit later as we work through Canvas as well. And then you would just type in your message right here. One thing to keep in mind about this messaging system, a lot of teachers like this because it allows them to not have to give their students their email address. And so rather than trying to, when having your students email you individually in your school email, which things get lost and messages out of order. This helps you keep track of who those messages are with, and what course they're in, and all the information that you need to know about those individuals is easily accessible with this messaging system. So if one of the messages that they send relates to a particular assignment that you have administered, and maybe it's a comment that they've added to an assignment, it puts their message in context, so you can click a link to go and check out their message. So that is the inbox. This is how this is also known as the conversations tool in Canvas, how you can have conversations with your students. Moving on to settings, be aware that you'll probably have an email address that's associated with your Canvas account.
George, we come with a question about inbox.
Yeah.
It wants to know where the blind copy option and the carbon copy options are in the. Okay.
Yeah, good question. So, so in the art appreciation example I just gave, okay, let's go back and do all of my students in the course. Okay. So basically, if I were to just send this message as is, it is, since I'm not sending it to individual messages, that means that by default it is a carbon copy. Everybody is going to be carbon copied on it. Everybody gets the message. Everybody knows who else is in this message as well, and they'll be able to see that. And when they reply, it replies to everyone. So by default, it is a carbon copy. If you click on this link, or I'm sorry, this checkbox, to send individual messages now, I can craft my message so that it's very personal. The students all feel they're getting a direct message from me, but really it's a blind carbon copy that's going out to all of the students, saying the same thing, but they don't know that all of the other students were added on it, because sending individual messages to each student. Does that make sense?
Does that answer your question? Okay. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of nice if we just had a CC or a BCC, right? Because most people are familiar with that, but a lot of the messaging system we have just kind of simplified it a little bit to make it a little easier. Okay. So settings was the area I moved on to next. Just want you to be aware that you're going to have your school email address. You can add other contact methods, like I've added my cell phone number. Also on here, you can register for services. You'll see a big list of services here. Click on them, and just by clicking the register link, it will link up to your Facebook account or your Twitter account or LinkedIn or any of the other ones that you want to register for. And then you will notice as you register for them, that new account will appear up here on the right. Okay, see, I've registered with my Twitter account. Now, just be aware that this doesn't automatically turn Canvas into Twitter or Facebook. It doesn't make it a social media site. These are simply methods of contact that you can use with, or each of these provides kind of a little bit of a different functionality in this. For example, Google Docs is going to allow you to use Google Docs and collaborate in your course. If you have students that collaborate with them, then you might encourage them to set up a Google account and register their Google Docs service so they can use that in your course. I'll show you how that works in a moment, just like Facebook and I believe Skype and LinkedIn as well. So you can minor details on your account here by editing settings, change your password, that sort of thing right here. But I always recommend after you have registered for some services that you come here and look at your notification preferences. Oh, by the way, students and you will be able to click on your image, your profile picture right here to add a profile picture to your account. And teachers typically, in the first week of class or something, they will encourage students to go right in and add a picture right away. Maybe that's the first assignment, is get in Canvas add your picture. That makes it helps you to get to know your students a lot quicker, but also if you have discussions or any public collaborative type assignments, it helps your students get to know each other and makes it a bit more personal when you have a profile picture that you're looking at. All right, just notice now that, again, by default you have an email address. I added my cell phone number and Twitter, and this is one of a really unique thing. It's not something that's offered by most services out there. Some services will send you messages via cell phone. Canvas allows every user to customize how they want Canvas to interact with or communicate with them. For example, if you want to be notified anytime a student is posting to a discussion topic that you've subscribed to, then you can have Canvas send you an email. Any new post comes in, you can have Canvas text you anytime a post comes in, or send you a private tweet. Or Facebook here, you can have it send you a private Facebook message. In the case of students, maybe whenever my teacher finishes grading an assignment, I want that notification to include a score, if there's a score associated with it, and I want a private tweet sent to me right away. Student can click, or actually all Canvas users can click one of these four options: right away, one day, 1 week, or never. So basically, if you choose once a week, you're going to be inundated with tweets or private messages every time a new grade comes in. You'll only get that notification once a week. I believe it's on Saturday afternoon or evening. And then you also have so one important thing to understand about this is it is global. So if a student is getting lots of announcements from one of their teachers, okay, and it's kind of, I'm upset because they aren't very relevant. So by default, that's set to ASAP to their email address, so they're getting a notification right away. So the student will come in here and turn it off. But just be aware that if you're planning on using announcements in your course, you need to make students aware of that, because they might have that notification turned off and then they don't get any of your announcements. Now, granted, when they do come into Canvas and they're looking at that dashboard screen that I showed you at the beginning, they will see your announcement here, but nothing is going to be pushed out. So these are basically your push notifications to external services. Okay? So the nice thing about that is it's very user-centric. Every user gets to define the best way to communicate with them. Okay? So make sure that you as instructors take some time to adjust and update your notification preferences. So in the personal settings, you guys notice over on the left that every Canvas user has their own personal file storage area, and basically like Dropbox, cloud storage. So students can't say, oh, I jump drive at home, so I can't turn in my assignment. They can store files in their file storage area here and have access to them anywhere where they have an internet connection. And I don't know. My account is a test installation of Canvas, so it might be some things that don't come through quite for you guys, but most of the content is there, though. There was one other thing, and we don't have time to get into it for this session, but just realize if you want to leverage e-portfolios, they're available, and it's a way for students or even teachers to highlight or showcase certain content from their courses. A student was applying for a different program, or maybe a student at a local school or something was applying to get into your college. They create a portfolio to showcase some of their work, and so it allows them to create a public portfolio of some of the work that they've completed. Kind of web page. So that's for global settings. Now we get into the really exciting stuff, which is the course settings. So what I've done here is I've just jumped down into a specific course, which is a course I've designed just for you guys today. before I dig into the course settings, are there questions about any of the global things that we've discussed thus far? Crickets? No questions?
I have a question. The setting, do they have control over their settings? I mean, if they turn everything off. So do you, as faculty, remember that they turn their ear, whatever, off? Whatever.
Well, they still have announcements on that front page. This is push out to devices or Twitter. Pardon me?
This is extra.
This is extra announcements, but they get announcements. They turn off the course announcements. Jordan?
You're absolutely right. So, for example, let's say that I send a message to Kim, okay? I'm just going to put a K here for Kim. Now, if Kim has turned off all her notification preferences, even if she's turned them all off, she will still get a message in her inbox in Canvas. The value of those notification preferences that I just shared with you is maybe Kim is not spending a lot of time in Canvas. She's not really coming into Canvas every minute and checking her inbox, but rather she spends a lot of time on Facebook. So Kim is able to go into her settings and enable Facebook notifications, and basically go in and say, anytime one of my teachers sent, or anytime anyone, even my classmates, sends a message through Canvas, I want that message pushed out to my Facebook account. So basically, because they're looking at Facebook all the time, they can get a message while they're walking through the mall and going shopping or grocery shopping, right? They get a notification that, boom, their teacher just sent them a message, and they can get that access right away. And if they want to find out what it is, they jump to Canvas and they can find out more details. Really, it's the notifications area I just showed you it's an extra advantage to natural conversation and all of the things that are the activity that's actually taking place in Canvas. Now stored inside Canvas, but those notifications allow that to extend beyond Canvas. Does that make sense, hopefully? Okay, I'm not otherwise, so I assume that that's pretty good there. Okay. So what we're looking at right now is a Canvas course. This is what a brand new course looks like. Empty, shiny, and new. But there's nothing there. So today I'm going to go and show you guys how to fill this up and create your content and turn this into a real course. First of all, I just noticed this at the bottom of the screen, this is called your setup checklist. And you don't have to actually use this. I always, during training, I actually encourage people to just click this little X and close it out. That way, you're not. That way, you can populate the content in a way that works best for you, rather than just following that person's path that may or may not be best for you. Okay, there's 3 parts to the course I want to go over. We've already talked about this global navigation at the top of the screen. Now what you're looking at here is called your course navigation. Okay, and this might look different depending on the course that you are in, because all of these items can be rearranged and put in different places. It's up to you how you arrange this course navigation on the left. The center area of the screen is called your content area, or the main body, and this on the right side of the screen is called the sidebar. Okay. Notice as we go to different screens throughout Canvas, the sidebar is changing and your options change over there. So I always encourage people, keep an eye on every different screen that you go to. Keep an eye over here on the right and see what options your sidebar presents you. Okay. For example, you want to send a quick announcement, you can go to the announcements area in your course navigation on the left, or from the home screen of your course, you can just create an announcement on the fly right here. Okay. This course checklist was link down at the bottom of the screen that I suggested that you close. So you can always bring it back if you want by clicking that link. And I'm going to tell you guys about customizing what your home page looks like to students a little bit later in the session. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over with you is about how we can get content into our courses. So Kim, if you could give me a little bit of background on you guys and how you're planning on using Canvas, that would be helpful. Do you guys already have a bunch of content on your computers and you're moving it into Canvas, or do you have some previous courses that Eraser that you're trying to like migrate over to Canvas, or what's your process here?
Yeah, we have courses in Eraser currently, and I think the best way, as it has been explained to me, is to save the content file in the file cabinet and migrate it over to Canvas. Recommendation. And some faculty members may choose to build a new course in Canvas using saved documents or other.
Sharing, and I personally can't prescribe a method that's going to be best for you, but it's really about, and I actually worked with another institution that was using Eraser that came on board with Canvas, and I think a majority of those teachers actually did the latter. They just started afresh in Canvas. They just figured it would be easier, and a lot of them didn't have a ton of content in there, but for some of you that might have had a lot of content in Eraser, you don't want to lose that. Maybe rating it is something that you can do and get all those files into the Canvas files, and then once they're in there, then you can organize and sort and rearrange it however you'd like.
The other thing, Jordan, is we work with Lumen Learning, and I know Lumen has a relationship with Canvas, and they use Candela LTI, so they have content stored there, and it's an easy migration for the courses that are built with them. Like
wow. What is that LTI called again?
Candela.
Interesting. I didn't know about that.
But it's just like it's the same Canvas in the background. But are you with Lumen Learning? You know David Wiley.
Yeah, David Wiley. That's why I was wondering if Wiley College had anything to do with David Wiley.
Yes, they're partners. That's right. They are our partners, and so they, the migration with the courses they have built, very simple. It's a click, as I understand it.
Nice. That's great. There's a few different approaches, and it sounds like Kim is pretty familiar with how this works. So I'm sure if any of you are having questions about what's the best way, it's probably a good one-off conversation for each of you to kind of have with Kim and say, hey, here's how I did things before, what do you recommend, and you guys can go from there. But what I want to do with you guys today is show you how a blank course, how we can turn a blank course into a real course in just a couple hours here. And obviously we could do it a lot quicker if I wasn't doing all of the explanation at the same time. But you can really do a lot very easily in Canvas. It's very intuitive. So the thing I want to point out in terms of content, okay, right now this course is blank. It's an empty shell. So I have some files on my computer that I want to get into Canvas. So that's one form of content that exists in Canvas. A form of content that we can create in Canvas is called assignments. Another content is called discussions. Another one is called quizzes. I'm kind of highlighting these and emphasizing them for you so you realize what types of content exist in Canvas. And then one is pages. These main ones. Now you can also create content. An announcement obviously is a type of content, right? And another piece of content that you can make, but each of these that I've highlighted are kind of a little bit different, and they each serve a different purpose. For example, files, that's all of your external stuff, like PDFs, documents, PowerPoints, study guides, all of that external stuff, all that, you know, the handouts, the things that, the physical things that you might have printed in the past, or, you know, things that you want students to actually have a copy of, right? Those are downloads. That is what your files area is. Okay. Also, in your file storage area, you have all of your images that you use to build your course with. So sometimes people like to add images to make the course a little more friendly and often more intuitive as well. You can create buttons and add buttons to a page so that the student can click a button to a certain thing. And so files is an area where you can store all of those files, okay? So you're aware, we actually have a brand new file storage system that's coming out soon. So that's something to look forward to. I think you're going to really like that when that eventually arrives. I don't know the ETA on that, but just to kind of put in your ear about that. Yeah, question.
Files. It's also the most optimal place to store videos and audio files.
Great question. Thank you so much for asking, Kim. When I get into show you guys the rich content editor, you guys have all used word processors like Word, right? And you know all of those editing tools. So we have a rich content editor, or a WYSIWYG. You might have heard it referred to as a WYSIWYG. So we have that in Canvas. And to introduce you to that, I'm going to introduce you to the Media Comment tool. The Comment tool is the same tool that I already showed you in the inbox that allows you to use your webcam or upload audio or video files. I would encourage and recommend that people use that tool instead of using the Files area. And I'll tell you why right now. Usually I save it for later, but I'll just tell you why. If you use the File Storage area right here in Canvas for your files, that takes up storage space in your course. And so if you have a course that's really heavy with video content, you quickly reach that 500 megabyte limit for your course. So one, that takes up file storage space in your course. Two, a lot of times teachers don't want students to actually download the content. And when you share a file on a page like this, sometimes the file will be preview, so the students can do it right on the page, but it's also going to be downloadable, so the student can click on it and obtain a copy of it. Most teachers don't like that, and so that's another thing you have to consider if you are placing your videos as files. If you use the Media Comment tool, it makes it so students can't download it. It's just giving them a preview of the file right on the screen. And it also makes it so that file will be converted or transcoded to a format that will be viewable on any browser or any device. So sometimes you might have a certain type of video that maybe doesn't work natively on an iPhone or an Android device or a Mac or a PC or whatever. And the students might have to download the file. If you use files, the students might have to download the file and then try to get the right codec to play the file, and then they try to play it and they still can't get it to work. Whereas if you use the Media Comment tool that's in Canvas, it will automatically transcode that MOV or WMV or MP4 or 3GP. It'll take that video and convert it to a format that any device can read, and so that students can't download it. So, and the other thing, it won't count against your file storage quota. When you use the Media Comment tool, it's stored on our servers, but it does not count against your 500 megabyte course quota. Okay. So it's up to you to choose whichever one makes most sense. I've kind of given you the pros and cons of each of those. Honestly, me personally, and it depends on how you guys manage your content, but if I were to have videos that I'm okay with being relatively relatively public, meaning public to the sense that if somebody has the link, they can view it. I would probably put my videos in YouTube or something like that and place my YouTube videos in the course. And the reason I like that option is that gives me full control of my video files. And if they're a YouTube link, I know that that's going to work on all devices, on all browsers. The YouTube is a standard that works really well with any device. But I maintain complete control of my video content. I know it's not taking up storage space in my course, and if one day we were to migrate away from Canvas, or if I want to leverage my video for something else outside of Canvas, then I have a very simple YouTube link that I can share instead of the video file actually living within Canvas. So there's another loop to throw in for you to think about. Whatever makes most sense. Hopefully now that you know those facts, you guys can kind of decide for your particular courses which options might be best for you. So I've talked about files, pages. This is a page is basically like what you see right here. It's an empty screen. Imagine this being empty, and you can put whatever content you want on it. For example, if I went to this the instructor training course, this is basically what a page is. A page is an empty screen, and you can put whatever you want. Notice I put an image up here. I put an image of me as the instructor, some information about me. Notice I didn't put my email address here for students because I want my students communicating with me through the inbox rather than my personal email or my school email. They can download a copy of the syllabus or just click the preview to view the syllabus right on the home page. So they don't actually have to download it. They just use the Canvas previewer or the box previewer, and they can read my syllabus right in line without ever having to leave. They can manage the page if they wanted to, but my syllabus and all the details are there. Quick links out to the modules for weeks and all of my content. And then also on my home page, I put links that the student can click on to go to that they're most important. So I put these really important links right on the home page so they have one-click access to get all of the answer keys or the extra credit assignments or course handouts. Okay. This example of what a page is, and again, a page is just a free-form area that you can put whatever content you want. When you put images, one of the cool things about images is that you can make them so they turn into links. So these are actually just images, but I create a link so that when someone clicks on this image, it actually becomes a button and takes the student to a particular location. If you guys want, as a little, this doesn't have anything to do with Canvas, but a lot of people like it when we share this resource with them. So, for example, when I made these buttons, a lot of people say, well, how did you make those buttons? And so the website called thebuttonfactory.com, thebuttonfactory.com, and you simply type in your text. Let's say that you break up your course by units. You would just type in something like Unit 1. It will create a button for you called Unit 1. So really, really easy to use. You can customize it if you want these colors to be red, like I chose here, because red kind of goes in line with the color of my course. Or I think you guys are purple right, at Wiley. I want to create. So you guys could get a nice purple color in there, right? For your button, call it Unit 1, and now you've got this nice button. All you have to do is click on it and download it. So that's a tool you might want to use to help you with course design and creating buttons or images like that. All right, back to types. I showed you you can pull in files and create pages in Canvas or content pages, and then just be aware that assignments, discussions, and quizzes, all these items are actually different ways to assess your students. So you can imagine an assignment is something like type out a response to this article, or submit a file for this assignment. For example, let's say I teach a photography class and students are to submit, a photo that they took. So I use an assignment to administer that type of assessment. Or maybe the first assignment of the class, I want the students to introduce themselves to me, but I don't want them to feel nervous about introducing themselves to everyone like a discussion would be. So I'm going to have them do a private assignment just between them and me where they introduce themselves and say a couple things they're hoping to get out of the class, and that way I can get to know individual students a little bit better. So assignments are that type of usually a personal thing between a student and a teacher. You have group assignments so that you have small groups or subsets of students working together on a particular assignment. Maybe there's a presentation or a report that 10 students are working together on a certain project and going to have to make a presentation to the class. So you might use an assignment for their final presentation. Discussions allow you to create a topic, and then just forum, students can respond to that topic, and then they can see what other students have responded, and then have a conversation about it, back and forth, in a discussion format. And a quiz assignment type will allow you to ask the students questions and get answers. And my favorite part about quizzes is it allows you to have automatic grading. Depending on how you set up the quiz, as long as you don't have any essay questions or something, which you can use, and that might be fine, but a lot of times you can use quizzes even for general homework assignment. If you grade your students on homework assignments, you could kind of create your homework assignment as a quiz, but don't call it a quiz, call it homework number 1. But you create it as a quiz type of assignment, okay? And you create it as a quiz type, it allows you to ask questions and define answers. And then the students, when they click the submit button, you can have it so Canvas automatically grades them and spits out a grade for them, or wait till all the students are completed, and then you have Canvas send out the grades to everyone and let them know how they did on that homework assignment or that quiz or whatever it is. Are those things I've highlighted again in summary? Those are the different content types you can add to Canvas. I don't have anything in my course. I want to quickly show you files. There's none here. What I want to do is add some folders. Okay, so maybe you have some slide decks for your course. And you have some study guides. You can have a combination of private and public folders here. You can choose to show this files area to the students or not. You can completely hide it if you want. Okay. For example, if I wanted students to have access to all the slide decks for the course but not study guides, I could come into the study guides and there's a lock right here. I can lock this folder and say, I don't want students to have access to it, so I'll lock it. Unlock it. So there's study. So that's one way you can create folders to organize your content. I want to add another folder for all the images I will use in my course. So the buttons, for example, and I really created that within Study Guide. So you can a little drag and drop to rearrange things. And again, I think you guys are really going to like the storage system. It's pretty hard to use, but it's not awesome. So that's the reason why we've made this new one that I think you'll really like. So let me show you one other thing really nice about oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Let me show you guys another way that you can get content into your course. For example, here is my computer. Okay. Now we talked about how you guys might have your content out on your computer somewhere. And I'm like you. I have my content out on a folder called My Course Files. And I have it conveniently organized into documents, handouts, images, slide decks, and study guides. I can't drag a whole folder into Canvas. Dragging folders doesn't work. I can individual individual documents or individual files into Canvas, that does work. So drag and dropping, you're going to see this functionality throughout Canvas. I think it's really nice. Something else that makes it even better is you can select all of the folders that you have that you want to pull into your course, click on it, and send it to a test or a zipped folder. Now, it has nothing to do with Canvas. This is just what your computer can do, is after you zip up a folder of all your content that you want to be in Canvas, it will create a file for you, or a zip file. You can take that zip file, Canvas, and OK, it will unpackage that zip file, and that same folder structure that existed on your computer will be mimicked or mirrored right into Canvas. I say mirror, though. I should say it will be copied, because it won't mirror in that if you make changes here, it won't reflect back on your computer. But now, I give myself the headache of manually uploading each of these individual files. They're all here already. Okay. So now that I have all my files that I want in my course, notice I don't have any video files, because I subscribe to a different philosophy that I either want to have my videos on something like YouTube, or I'm going to use the media comment tool to present my videos.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Edit the one happens one of them. Well, that if it's one or I have to do with both. You have them in my desktop, and I have the document in Canvas. So edit one, then the other one will not be edited automatically. Yeah. Okay.
I've answered the question.
Okay, sounds like you guys have a good team there. Some of you are helping each other under something.
Okay. We have a question, though.
Yes.
I don't know if you can hear me. I noticed you have BoxNet and Dropbox on your computer. How do you integrate those into Canvas?
Another question. So something I was going to go over later, but let's take a quick sidestep to answer that question. You'll notice in the settings of your course, after going to settings, you have the ability to add different apps into your course. And you do have options for Dropbox and Box. Now, the thing to caution you on is to not assume how these integrations work. Okay, first of all, understand that all of the integrations that you see under apps are not created by Canvas or supported by Canvas. These are created by party vendors or third-party services. Actually, they understand that they want their product or service used in learning platforms, and so it's we use the standard called LTI in order to have that deep integration with Canvas. Now, Box, for example, from experience, what Box does is it allows the instructor, if they want, to show a link in the course navigation on the left for the box. And so that would be, if the instructor clicks on it, it gives them a link to the instructor's own personal Box account, and they can have access to all their files and manage files and see them. Students have the same ability. You can also use Box to show off information in modules, or to share things in like assignments or discussions, but it's not going to give you, it's not as deep of an integration as you might like. For example, if I'm creating a content page and adding information to the content page, actually let me just unbox, and so that we can, I can do this real quick here. I think I have my key. in. Okay. Let me just look up one thing real quick and I can add this. So most of the tools you don't necessarily need. Actually, I'm going to add that. Just let me add one that's a little bit more practical. So I'm going to do the app center. I'm going to add one. This is one I always encourage people to add because it's free. You don't have to do anything special to add it. You don't need a key and a secret. You just find public resources. And I love this because this one tool, rather than adding all these tools individually, this tool allows me to search all of them at the same time. Okay, so I just click on Add Tool. I'm going to leave it called Public Resources. And remember, it's this nice little stack of books right here. And I'll show you how these work. So, so to sum up the answer to that question, Box and Dropbox integration, you need to do is you just need to try it out, experience it in the different ways that it can be used. And the area where it says extensions is showing you what parts of Canvas the tool will appear. So it may not agree with the type of experience that you're hoping for with the tool. And because I haven't explored them, I've explored the Box app quite, but not the Dropbox one as much. If you want more details on that, one thing I would recommend that you do is go to, we offer free webinars about Canvas to teach you different things about Canvas. It's called Canvas Live. Make a note of this. If you go to canvaslive.instructor.com, canvas.instructor.com, that shows you our coming sessions. Then at the top of that screen, you also have Canvas Live Archives. And we really just a couple weeks ago had a session called Exploring the Canvas App Center. If those apps seem interesting to you guys and you want more details, it's actually a session that I did. You can click on the View Recording link and go and watch that video session. And in this video, actually, I show you how to use the Box app and a couple different ways the Box app works. So hopefully that'll be at least some to answer some of your questions a little more in depth. So thanks for asking. So other content types are pages are another type of content. And I'll show you pages in a moment. But let's look at assignments, discussions, and quizzes. Now, something that's interesting about assignments, discussions, and quizzes are they're actually, all three of those are called assignments. They're all just different types of assignments. So just keep that in your mind that the word assignments really is referring to anything that's assessed or graded. We have assignments, discussions, and quizzes. And you're going to see all of those are different types of assignments. So let's take a look. I grade my students on basically just a few different types of assignments in my course. I'm going to have homework, and I'm going to create another group up here, and I'm going to call this assignments. And just for clarity, I'm going to, for you guys, I'm going to call this maybe tests and quizzes, that sort of thing. Big things, just big knowledge checks to make sure my students are really getting it. We're going to have a big group project, a couple group projects, so I might have that as one. And then also we're going to have some discussions in this class. Okay? Now, you might have noticed that it was saying % of total grade, but it's giving me a little error that I can't actually do anything with that. And I need to myself the question, actually let me remove this. Do you want to grade your students or to weight the final grade that your students receive based upon these groups? Maybe say that assessments make up 50% of the final grade, okay? And group projects make up 10%. So what you need to do if that's the type of grading that you do for your class, is up here in this little settings icon, is you check the box that says weight final grade based on assignment groups. Now it's showing me all my assignment groups. I'm going to say that assessments, they represent 40% of the final grade. Group projects, that's going to represent 10%. Home, big part, so that's going to represent 20. Actually, let's say that the group projects are 20 as well, and we'll do discussions as 20. That represents the total grade, and I put those down. So I might have some assignments in my homework area that are 100 points, or I might have 10 assignments that are 100 points each. And in my tests and quizzes, I might only have 3 tests or quizzes, and they're worth 100 points as well. It's weighting the final grade from each of these categories, not based upon those point values, but it's weighting the final grade. Each category in and of itself is giving a final grade based upon those point values, but it represents a percentage of the final grade. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. You don't have to use this. So if you weren't using this, what you could do is weight the different grades for your different assignments just by using point values rather than percentages of the final grade for different groupings. Does that make sense? Are there any questions about that? Nothing? So now that I've created a couple groupings for my assignments, now I want to actually create the assignment shell. So this is the actual creation of assignment content for our course. So I'm going to create, now any click on this plus, you're going to have a few different options. You want to create an assignment, a discussion, or a quiz. Okay. Now external tool, that is if you want to leverage one of the LTI apps that I was just showing you. And for example, let's say that your institution subscribes to one of those services. Students actually submit their assignment through this other service. So you click external tool and connect or link to that other service. And so it's actually completing that assignment maybe in the other service, but it may pass the grade back into Canvas. So that external tool is, in some cases you might want to have something that's not graded. Okay. In this case, I'm going to leave it as an assignment, and let's just call it homework number 1. Okay, and maybe it's a read and respond. Okay, and I do next week. Let's say it's our first week of class, so our first assignment is going to be due the day of next week, so they have the weekend to read and respond to something. It's going to be worth 40 points, and I'll save it. If I have more options, that allows me to go in and edit this fine-tune details, because right now this is just a shell. Students don't know what they're reading and what to respond to, what my expectations are, right? So more options allows you to go in and add the details, but personally, when I'm designing the course, I like to create my content and my assignment shells first, go in later and add actual content to each item. Another thing that you'll need to do before students will have access to this content is click on the publish icon. And what I like to do is keep my content unpublished until I've added I've actually digged into the assignment and added the real content. Because again, right now this is just a placeholder. Okay. Now I wanted to create one of those automated homework assignments where Canvas automatically does the grading for me. Use it within my homework. I'm going to choose a quiz type. Okay. I'm still going to call it homework because I don't want the students to be confused. This is not a quiz. I'm going to use the quiz type so that I can ask them questions and have Canvas automatically respond. So they need to complete the worksheet. Maybe call it online worksheet, right? Because they're doing it in Canvas. And that's due on Wednesday next week. And we'll have one worth 40 points as well. Save it up. Since that Canvas is indicating that these are different types of assignments. Okay? That's just the formatting. the format or type of the assignment, okay? At creating actual quizzes, I might come into the assessments area and then create those as quizzes. Call it quiz 1. And let's make our quiz 1 due next Friday. Save it. Oh, I forgot to add the point value. That's okay, because remember, I'm going to go into each one of these items later anyway. So if I forget the due date or if I forget the point value, that's okay, because I'm going to go back and add that content later. Okay. Add 2 more items here. Let's add quiz 2, or let's add this as a test number 1. Put it on as the 28th and make this 100 points. Let's say that I'm midterm, and my midterm is actually a paper that they write. So even though this is under my assessment, this really doesn't make sense if they're turning in a paper. So assignment is the best type that I want to use for paper that they're turning in. So midterm paper. Okay? And it's closer to a final paper, but you're going to bear with me there on the date. And let's make that 100 points. I get the idea. Let me show you one more thing. One thing I didn't do is add a discussion. So let me just throw a discussion in. Now, I'm intentionally creating my discussion in the wrong category or the wrong group. Let's say I want my students to complete discussion 1. This is kind of a read and respond. They respond to everyone. Everybody gets to see their response, and they get to respond to each other as well, because it's a discussion. So it'll be lots of fun. Students learn a lot from each other. 20 points. But what I realize is that actually is not part of my assessment. Rather, that should have been down here under discussions. I just want you guys to realize what these drag handles will do. We'll to drag and drop any of your content items and replace them in an appropriate place if you accidentally put it in the wrong place. Okay? We can also rearrange the items in and of themselves, or the whole groupings. Like I want my assessments, since those weigh the most, maybe to be down here at the bottom. And since group projects, we don't have a lot of those, I'll have those at the bottom of this. But homework we have the most of, and then a lot of discussions as well. So you can organize this however you like. Okay, so you guys have seen I've added some files with you. We've added some assignments. We've added a discussion and a couple of quizzes as well. So we have a lot of content at this point, but the content is empty. There's nothing there. So what I want to do is create the content within these items. So I'll show you guys what an assignment, a discussion, and a quiz looks like. Okay? So note here's this assignment. I'm just going to hold down the control key, click, and that opens a new tab for me with homework 1. And hold down the control key, and actually let me show you quiz number 1 and discussion number 1. This is what an assignment looks like. You can rubric to the assignment, but really the first thing you'll want to do is go in and edit the assignment. Okay, I'm not going to publish it until I've actually created it. Okay, and let's see here. What you guys are looking at now, oh, and I already have it at my account level. I shouldn't have done that. What you're looking at now is the rich content editor I referred to earlier. Say I want to give the students a little bit of instruction on what they should do. I throw in some instruction for the assignment, and maybe have a few specific tasks that I want them to complete. Okay? So give them those tasks, and that's what their expectations are. Okay? If I wanted to, I could throw an image in here. I can pull in images by using the Images tab over on the right, or I can use this little tree icon. Okay? Now let me just kind of introduce you guys to this, because these tools are very important. And once you guys learn how to use this tool and this tool, you will be, you can do anything in Canvas once you know how to create those, because that is how you create all of these things that I'm illustrating over here on the right. The syllabus, quizzes, all of those things where you see dots, you have a rich content editor like this where you can use to add content. This area on the right is called the content selector. Now, what links will do is allow you to go and grab links from other parts of your course. I might tell the students, once you're done with this, after submitting this assignment, be sure to respond. Now this, guys, watch very closely. I want them to respond to that discussion number 1. Now, I could go back to assignments or go to discussions, find a link to the discussion, or Canvas makes it really easy with this content selector that I just come over here, discussions, and there it is, discussion 1, read and respond. So I'm going to tell students, be sure to respond to, and no cursor is right here. And now come over to the right, click on discussion 1, and places that link right in the page. And then we'll be having the, and then come over and find quiz. Say number 1 at the end of the week. So be sure to study. So this links is doing this is not links to parts of the web, right? So don't just overlook this and think, oh, I won't use that. This is linking to other parts of your course. Okay? Imagine if you were sending an announcement out to students reminding them that such and such quiz closes at 8 o'clock tonight or tomorrow night. You send an announcement. You'll use this rich content editor to compose your message, right? And you can quickly link the students to the assignment to which you're referring. Okay? So note we can link to all sorts of content. We can link to assignments, quiz, announcements, discussions, models is what I'm going to show you guys a little bit later, and we can even link students to specific parts of our course navigation over here on the left. And direct them to check out the announcements. If you're not sure about blah blah, then check out the announcements. Okay? So that is an example of how you might leverage links. Okay? Another thing you could do is, going back to factory, right? Actually, no, I won't do that. I'll keep it simple. Never mind. Sorry. So another thing you can do is add files directly onto a page. Remember, this is a read and respond. So what are we having the students read? Maybe this is a file. I could say to the students, read this file. Okay? So there's really 2 options I have here. If there's a document I wanted the students to read, I've encouraged you guys to place your files in the file storage area in Canvas right when you get started with your course. The cool thing about that is all of your files are sitting here conveniently waiting for you to use anytime you have this rich content editor. So that means that the document that I want my students to read is sitting here waiting for me. And so I click on the document and it puts it right on the page. Now, that doesn't look very good, right? And it doesn't really help students, and so I might be a little bit more clear saying, click here to download, or rather, I'm sorry, I would probably say to download a copy of the article So now what I can do is highlight the words click here or preview in Canvas and come over and find my file. Now watch the words, when I click file, watch the words click here or preview in Canvas. Click now. See those words? Some of those have become a hyperlink to this document. Now it doesn't look as junky because it's not my file, but it's telling the students what will happen when they click. To down copy the article, they can click there. And I'll show you guys what this looks like in just a moment. And so let's say that I want to add an image or something. I can add an image from right here. You can grab a URL from anywhere on the web if you want to pull an external image. You can look through your course files or personal files in Canvas, or you want to Flickr. And let's say we're talking about bacon and wanted to have a nice picture. These are the Creative Commons, and so you can put what picture you want. You can grab any of those pictures and not have to worry about copyright. Okay. Oops. So I'll just leave it down there. You can add an image if you wanted to, or add some other relevant image to your assignment. You can also turn image into a link. For example, if I wanted this to be a link to the article I want students to read, I could click on the image and click on this lorem ipsum or this article, and now it has turned that image into a link or to that file. So that's how you create buttons, right? So if I wanted to link students to an announcement, rather than linking them to the announcement list right here, I could put a new image here, or the reason that you're seeing images right here, right now, remember, I started with a blank course today. These images were in that package of files that I uploaded into Canvas. They're just sitting here waiting for me. So I can click the announcements image, hold in this huge button that's kind of crazy, and so I just shrink it down, and I want my students to, if they're not sure about what to do, they can go and check out more information in announcements. So that's just an image. If the students click on it right now, nothing happens, but watch. If I click on this image, I want to link my students to a part of my course navigation, specifically the announcements area. When I click announcements, it turns this into a link. It now becomes a button that takes students to the announcements. Okay? A couple other things I could show you guys here. If I have math teachers in the room, you guys have a math editor that you can use and pull up to create equations. Now, I'm not a math guy, but you math teachers in the room will know how you want to leverage this tool to create equations. And then creating the equation in the editor, you click Insert Equation and it adds it as an image. Now, I showed you guys that AI tool called Public Resources. And Public Resources is basically allowing you to leverage content from various sites. And the reason you're seeing this stack of books twice is because LTI tools, and you should be aware of this, LTI tools can be added at the account level, and if they are, they then become available for everyone to use at the account levels below that, or you can set up at different sub-account levels as well from the admin interface. And so I have this tool at the account level, and you guys saw me just a few moments ago added the stacks to the course level as well. So typically these wouldn't appear twice. This particular external app allows you to add content from external services that are public content. So let's get rid of my bacon picture here, and look, I had a video that I wanted the students to watch. I could click on that stack of books, and want to grab that video from, or I could grab a YouTube video, or maybe I have some flashcards I want the students to study. So I could go to Quizlet, and let's get some biology in here. We have a biology course now. Maybe let's pretend this is my it's 45 terms. This one, you can play the cards in here and see what you like, and you want it to appear. If you want it to show a scatter, you can have the students learn by seeing what the answers are. So lots of different ways to use it. You guys can play around this one. I really like the flashcard ones, really simple. And then the students can mark the ones that they're not very clear on. And other details. After you're choosing the details for the card set, then choose how you want to embed those cards. So I'm going to embed them small, directly on my page, and then put it right into Canvas. They're just sitting there waiting, so the students can kind of see those. This might be good to review right before they take a test or something. So what it's all about, this experience for the last 10 minutes that I've been showing you, is how to use the rich content editor. Because this is how you will populate content for your assignments, discussions, quizzes, pages. Once you've created the shells for everything, your next step is to go in and actually add content or information for each item. Now, the thing, I'm sorry, that I didn't mention was this media comments tool. So I could, if I wanted to share a video, I could click on the media comment tool, and back to your question, Kim, I would probably upload my media this way. Find a video file on the computer, Canvas will transcode that file into a universal format and embed it directly in Canvas. So students don't have to download it, they won't be able to download it, and can view it on any device directly in Canvas. If you wanted to maybe tell the students your instructions just by recording yourself on the webcam, you could do that. Or maybe you don't want them to see you, but you want to just quickly give them some verbal instructions rather than typing it all out. You use the microphone and record yourself, record audio, and then the student would be able to listen to your audio file before they complete the assignment. Questions about the media comment tool, or actually at this time, any questions about the rich content editor and pulling in content from your course, using any of these tools?
Any questions, anyone? I think we're ready to get started. Now's the time.
This is butter, really. Like, once you know how to do this, you can design anything in Canvas. That created this page, right? I just add images, I added more images, created links to different parts of the course with these images, and I made a home screen for my students. So this is what they see whenever they log in. Okay. Another thing to show you with the rich content editor, for you advanced users, you do an HTML editor as well, so you can tweak things, fine-tune things with the HTML by clicking this HTML editor here. And you can click on that link to go back to your rich content editor. So that's just the first part. After you've added your content or your instructions, now you don't have to do all of that. I was just showing you how all of these tools work. Okay? You might simply have a little bit of information on how they are going to complete the assignment. That's fine. Okay? Next thing you'll do is double check your points, make sure those are correct. And like I said on the last page, if you didn't add points, when we were creating the assignment shells, if you add points, it's fine, because you're going to have the option to add points when you actually design the assignment. Same with due date. You'll have the opportunity to add the due date at the bottom. I already have this in the right assignment group. I showed you guys the assignment groups that we created. And what I want to grade the students? Am I going to grade them on points, percentage, complete, pass or fail basically, letter grade, GPA scale? I'm going to do a letter grade. And letter grades, I can also customize a grading scheme and set different grading schemes for different assignments. But I'm just going to keep it real generic and real simple today and keep it the existing grading scheme. But just be aware, it is customizable. I could even set my grading schemes to be different. It have a rating level of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of A, B, C, and all of that. You can customize this grading scheme however you'd like. So just your numbers in there instead of those letters. Okay. Next is submission type. Now let's say that for this submission I'm having students turn in a paper. So what I do is I put the submission type as online. On paper means that they would be submitting something in class. External tool means that maybe they're submitting something through, like I said, through another service and that passes the grade back to Canvas. Most of the time what you're going to do if you're keeping students within Canvas is having them submit something online. Now you need to determine for each assignment what's most practical. If my students type a 5-page paper, I don't want them entering that text directly in Canvas. I want them creating it in Google Docs or creating it in Word and uploading it. So I'm to, for this type of assignment, allow a file upload. Teaching, like I said, a photography class or a graphic design class, I might require that students submit an EPS file or a PSD file. Or maybe if I'm in an accounting class, maybe students have to submit an XLS or an XLSX file. You restrict those file types so that Canvas will only accept the extension that you allow. But you don't have to do that. It's just an option. The example I gave you guys earlier, maybe one of the first assignments you have in your class is to require students to do a media recording, whether it's with their phone, whether it's with the webcam and Canvas, but they have to record themselves and introduce themselves to you and say what they're hoping to get out of the class and so on. So that media recording would be they'd be able to record an audio or video file, and then a URL they would simply have an area where they would place a URL like this for their submission. Maybe you're assigned to go out and find an article on a certain topic. So they find the article, come back, and then and give website URL as their submission. Text area is great for just quick essay responses. So if the students are to watch a video or study these cards, and just address these 4 points, then it might be worth just doing a text entry. So what's best for your assignment. If I'm doing a 2-page paper, I'm going to do a file upload. And I'm not going to go into details here, but be aware that you can set up group assignments, and you can set them up so that when one student turns it in, it basically, you grade that one student and it grades it for everyone, or you can grade students individually within groups, and they all are individual assignments. There's lots of different ways to set that up. Reviews can allow you to have students review each other's assignments after they've submitted their own. And then due dates. So I already set a due date for November 10th, but this is what I call a soft due date. And these are hard due dates, okay? Available from means students won't even be able to see this assignment until November 9th. So you might have already published the assignment at the top, okay? And still lock it down so they can't even get into it until November 9th. It's due the next day, November 10th, at the end of the day. But students will be able to, by default, submit assignments after the due date. You as a teacher will be notified that it's late, but you can submit later. So if you don't want them to submit after a due date or a specific date, you just select an until time, meaning that you want this to be you won't accept anything after that time. And just click Update Assignment. I made those flashcards a little bit bigger. Example of the flashcards embedded on the page. And I don't know that one very well, so I'm going to star that one. I don't know either. And so at the end, I can go back and just review the cards that I didn't know very well. So pretty cool learning tool that you can throw in. Now, obviously, you can leverage other people's flashcards, or if you want to provide something like that for your students, you could go into Quizlet, create a free Quizlet account, and add some flashcards for your students to study. Okay? But here are the details for the assignment. Notice that I told the students click here if they want to download the assignment, and that would typically download the assignment. And okay. And they just link to preview the assignment right in line, so they don't have to leave Canvas. Your article right inside, and they would complete these things by uploading a file. Now, one thing to note as well is when the students look at this assignment, notice that yours is all squished like this, and that's because we try to keep it simple for instructors, because you don't typically need to go back and read your instructions. That's more for students. But when a student looks at this assignment, it will automatically be completely open to show all of the information that you've given to the assignment. Now, one of the most powerful parts of Canvas, and thing that will save you the most time, which is what we all want, right? We don't want another tool that's just eraser that's just going to cause more and take more time. Now, of course, there is an investment up front where you're learning how to use this tool, but by using rubrics, you're going to do a few things. Number one, you're going to create transparency so the students know exactly what you expect of them. So they're going to know that I'm going to rate them on spelling and grammar. Oops. Spelling, grammar, and I'm going to say 0 to 1 errors. The full, actually I'm going to this 10 points. Okay, and I'm going to say 0 to 1. Okay, and I'll say 2 to 4. Okay, and notice I can just keep adding different rating levels by clicking that double arrow. And then plus I'm going to give them no points. So you guys are seeing the difference here. I'm telling the students how I'm grading them at each level. If they can keep down below, only have 1 error or less, they'll get the full 10 points. And that's a drastic drop. Maybe I'd want this to be like 7 or something. But you adjust these however you want. You can adjust what rating level is called, and then you can also adjust the point values for each item. Okay, spelling and grammar. To save time, I'm not going to come up with different criterion for each of these, but I could also in the longer description explain what my expectations are for spelling and grammar. That way I can keep the criteria itself simple and not too verbose, and have the verbose description under the longer description. So again, clicking these different rating levels allows me to add different levels to the ratings. When I'm creating those, another thing you have the ability to do is add outcomes. Now, a rubric is specific, the specifics of this assignment. An outcome allows you to grade more at a higher level. Do they have competency with this certain skill? Have they achieved mastery in this certain skill? Sometimes outcomes are associated with accreditation and certain requirements you guys may have. Those outcomes can be denied at the account level, and if they have been, you can actually find outcomes, search the outcomes that have been added by your institution, and have that outcome, and you would see here that you can add it into your rubric so that you're doing your regular day-to-day grading, but also you're rating them on these high-level outcomes or competencies that you want to make sure students are achieving. going to use this rubric for assignment grading, and then I'm going to create the rubric. I need to add some more points here because it's a 40-point assignment. All right, so now a rubric associated with this homework. Easy, right? Now what this does is it creates transparency for the student. So when they see this assignment, actually I can show it to you. I have another window that I wanted to show you this with. So a second here. Go direct to this assignment. I need to publish this assignment, and actually I need to publish the course as well, or else I won't be able to see it. This is something you do at the very end. After your course is ready to go live, you have to make sure you publish it, or students won't have access to it. Give me just 1 second here. Oh, this is a perfect example to show you guys. I'm looking in student view right now, okay? And it's telling me that the assignment's locked until November 9th. So let me come back here to that assignment. I'm going to edit the due date from, and I'm going to get rid of my locked dates, basically, these hard due dates. Okay? And let me refresh my screen. Now you'll see what this looks like to a student. You'll see the flashcards, they start studying and doing everything they need to do here, read their assignment, and then you see exactly how you're planning on grading them. So love rubrics, okay? It's transparency. And then on the back end, it's going to do two great things for you. One, it helps you to grade objectively, right? Because you're grading students on the exact same scale and the exact same rating levels. And two, it's going to make grading insanely easy for you. Because rather than tabulating how many points they got from each item, you'll just click, click, click. Canvas will take the points from each of those rating levels and automatically calculate the grade that the student will receive. And I'll show that in a little bit. Look at the grading. Yeah. No, it's not letting me upload the file. The assignment's published.
Good.
Let me just follow those on and see. Huh. I'll be able to show this particular one to you. I don't know if this isn't showing up, but there should be a button that appears right here that says Submit Assignment. And, like, I'm running my brain real quick, and I can't think why it's not letting me submit the assignment. Show what types of assignment submissions I've allowed. I'm not sure. Sorry, that's not coming through for us. Okay, so anyway, that's creating an assignment. Creating a discussion and a quiz is very similar, right? And I taught you guys how to use the rich content editor. Comes time to, so we've just created the content for this item, right? And because I'm creating content for it, notice, you guys remember I published it. Now it's up as green, meaning that it's published. And it shows me that little check mark as well to show me that item is published. So I know exactly what I still need to build out for my students in this course. Okay? For example, in that discussion, I would need to come in here, edit the discussion, and again, I would grab that, the details are for the discussion, what I want the students to talk about. Another thing to be aware about with discussions, it's a little bit different, is you can require students to post before they can see what other students have posted. So a lot of people like that because they don't want students having a biased opinion. So you require them to post first, and then they can see other responses. Okay. Also, I'm going to leave this same and click on Save. Now, this was a graded discussion. You can have discussions so that they are not graded as well. And then once I'm ready to go with this, I would click on Publish, and that discussion is now available for students to respond to. Students will see this little reply link. They can type in their response, and they can see what is written, respond to others, and it's a nice long discussion of the conversation everyone's having about your topic. And give them a grade based upon their contribution. The one that you can create in terms of an assignment or an assessment is a quiz type. And the quiz has two parts. When you click on Edit, you have the first part, which is all of the settings, which there are quite a few. And then the second part is the actual creation of your questions. So instructions for the quiz. You can give students some basic instructions. Maybe there's a formula or two you want them to have access to during the entire quiz. The instructions sit at the top of the quiz. So when they're actually taking it, those instructions will be right here for them to see and access. I might want to remind them to be sure to, and then I go into my files and grab that study guide and place it on the page so that they can review the study guide before they dive into this quiz. Go through all these details, but I hope you guys will when it comes time to creating a quiz. Look at all of the options and then check all of the boxes and become familiar with what's available. Because when you check certain boxes, it allows additional boxes to appear that are contingent on the boxes that you have checked. Okay, so make your quiz time to allow different attempts. People like that they can require an access code to the quiz. So maybe you have a pop quiz. You left that quiz unpublished so students don't know that it's going to come. And then on class day, the students arrive and you publish the quiz. You give them a password that everybody has to, basically you give them the password in class so that only the students that are in class that day can take the quiz with the access code that you've given them.
Hold on just a moment, please, George. Does that get okay? Because that's a great feature. Because you them they have to come, they take it away.
Yep. You could, if you want it so that they can't tell their friends, I mean, there was a possibility that they send their friend a text message, but and that gets into the realm of cheating and you know, kicked out of school and those kinds of things.
Who's been there?
Yeah.
With it if they.
So that's really nice. Another thing that you can do, if you guys have testing centers where students are sometimes required to go to take a test.
Joel, your thoughts. Just one more, please. You have a comment?
About managing the issue of students giving the password or the password to their friends. Once they start the test, we will change the password.
Okay. Okay. He said once they start the test, you can go in and change the password, Jordan. Later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's a great observation from the outside looking in. Yeah.
Can you talk a little more about filter IP addresses? Is that, make sure that you can't use the same machine?
Okay.
to take the quiz, or-
The IP addresses, Jordan, what of that feature, please?
Yeah, so I was going to mention that if you guys have some centers or locations where students, proctored environments where students may be required to go to take a quiz, something that you guys could do at the admin level is you can actually set up these IP address filters so that for those specific rooms, that your teachers don't have to know the IP addresses and all of that special information. All they have to do is click this magnifying glass, and they'll be able to look at a list of testing center locations or places where you set up these filters. So let's say that the Edison building, room 250, is a testing center, and you've set up an IP filter for that room. Then basically all they have to do is find the Edison building on this list, and that room 250, they click on it, and then that information is automatically populated here, which means the students can take that quiz at home, have to be in that proctored environment to take the quiz.
And that's especially important for face-to-face classes. If you wanted to just administer, you don't have to have them come to class to, you set your tests up in here, have them report to a center. And where you can have someone watch. Okay.
Lots of options. That's why I say take some time. Your first few times you're creating quizzes, click every single box so you can see what other options you will have. Because like I said, as you click boxes, new options appear with each box. And with that, you'll go in and create your questions. Questions are very simple. I'll just give you the high-level overview. Click on New Question. It's your question type. What type of question is it? Multiple choice, fill in the blank, true or false, essay, right? And then you have different possible answers. To select the correct answer, you just click on the little arrow next to the correct answer. Okay. Also have the ability, if you were to say multiple answers, so a couple of these might be correct, add additional answers. Maybe you want to give them 10 different possible answers. You can have the possible answers as many as you want and select the correct ones. You give feedback. So if they selected a certain answer, you can give feedback for choosing that positive answer or for choosing the wrong answer, using those comment bubbles. Same thing on here. If they got all of them right, then they'll get the green one, or if they got some of them wrong, they'll get the red one. Or if you want everyone that completed this question to have some kind of feedback, you can use this blue one. So take this back to the idea of using this for a worksheet or for a homework assignment, right? It's not so much about quiz to test the knowledge, but rather a learning experience. And you can use these comment bubbles to teach them and guide them as they're completing a homework assignment. If you use this quiz tool to design your homework assignment, you have your question, and then you put in your different answers. Okay? Something we like about this as well is you could with these poll answers, you come over here to the right, and you see that little pencil icon? You have a content editor, which means you can plug images into answers even. So I could, when the cursor was up there, but if I put my cursor here, I could, you know, if I was in an arts or humanities class, I could put images as answers for the quiz. And this would select the appropriate answer. There we go. So you guys works. What else does that mean? Well, because for the individual answers, you have images, but you could also have what? Audio files. Maybe you asked the question, which of the following musical pieces was composed by Bach? And so then you could have little audio clips. They listen to 5 different audio clips and one that's correct. Also great for language courses, right? If you're teaching a foreign language or something like that. speech, some kind of some course where there's some kind of presentation or some kind of audio that feed in there. That could be really valuable. Once you've created your question, on update question, and you have question number 1. Now, I didn't put anything for my text here. Then I question, and then show question details if you want to see all of those different options. Okay? We put questions in question groups. I'm not going to get into the details with question banks as well, but question banks can be a great way to organize your questions and to randomize questions so that students are receiving different questions at different times. But that is it. So it's how to design an assignment, a discussion, and a quiz. And those are the main types of content. Those are the ways that you will be assessing your students. So after you've designed assignments, discussions, quizzes, most instructors like to organize that content in action that makes sense for the students. And there's ways that that can be done. Number 1, it's automatically done on the calendar. So I'm Wiley College here. So we see all of these items are automatically placed on the calendar because we added due dates to them, right? And I accidentally added the wrong due date. I actually grab any of these assignments, drag them and drop them to a different due date. Or say class is canceled, so I'm giving the students an extra day. All I have to do is go to the calendar, drop, and it reschedules that assignment for everywhere in Canvas where that assignment appears is now rescheduled. Okay. The other thing you can do is if you didn't date your assignments, they will appear over here as undated items, and you can drag them from undated items onto the calendar. So if you forgot to or didn't want to add due dates when designing the assignment, due dates by just taking them and dropping them to a specific date. Okay? So that's the calendar. Another cool thing about the calendar is students and you have the ability to the calendar to feed into your personal calendar. If you use iCal or Google Calendars or Book, those calendars, you can grab this feed and add it to your personal calendar, and then that student will see all of their Canvas calendars exported into their personal calendar. So again, they don't have to come into Canvas every second to see what's going on. They can see it in their day-to-day personal calendar. That's enough. And that's found at the very bottom of this calendar screen on the far right corner. Okay. Another thing I should point out is when you're going from one semester to another, it's really nice that it will copy all of your assignments, but sometimes the due dates are a little bit off, maybe even by a couple days. So all you have to do is just come into the calendar and drop those to the new dates for the semester. Instead of going to each individual item in the assignment screen and manually typing in a new due date, or looking at a calendar for each item and reassigning it on the calendar that way. Okay, so the calendar is one way that you can see all of your assignments. Another way that students can see their assignments is on the syllabus page. Now, have I taken you guys to the syllabus page yet? Notice that all of this information on the syllabus page, how did that get here? I'll take you guys into assignments, right? And added a few assignments. That's what these are. Okay? Whenever you add an assignment, discussion, or quiz, it will be added to your course syllabus. If you attach a due date with the assignment, it will be a due date as well. Notice calendar over here on the right on the syllabus. As else over items, it kind of highlights those dates on the calendar. Or vice versa. If I come over to the calendar and highlight, okay, today is the 4th. What's my first assignment that's due? I can highlight it, and it tells me that discussion 1 is due, and the quiz 1, and it ends to be in chronological order as well. But you as a teacher have to do nothing to update the syllabus screen. Now somebody's probably thinking, well, that's not really a syllabus, that's just a list of assignments, right? But the nice thing about the syllabus page is this area at the top is yours. Whatever you want this to be, you can place syllabus on here, you can embed it, you can actually create your syllabus in Canvas by using the rich content editor. Or to the course that I showed you earlier, this is actually a syllabus page. I didn't show it to you, but look. All assignments for the course are in chronological order at the bottom. I have to do nothing to maintain this list. It's automatically organized for me based on my assignment due dates. Okay? But it's kind of a cool thing for my students because it's yet another way for them to easily see what assignments are and they're due. And they can see it right on the home page of my course. Okay? The way that I created this page was on the syllabus page, you go to Edit Syllabus Description, and then add whatever content you want. For example, like I had an image at the top of my screen, right? Just a other type image, so I could throw it on there. Right? And maybe I want some buttons to tell my students the different places that they can go in my course. Important thing, this is a syllabus, right? So let's make my syllabus is on there. And those buttons are actually just images until I turn them into a link. So I can go to my course files now. So now I'm showing you guys how you can really leverage your content once it's been placed in files or once you've already created things. Or I could link my students into the, well, I would come and grab the conferences link. Another way you can turn an image into a link is by using this hyperlink on up here. Take my students to conferences for office hours. And they're grades. The link in the navigation on the left, but now that's a link to grades. Okay? So this, I'll update my syllabus. Now this is a pretty lousy home page, right? But nevertheless, my syllabus. And the student can, if they're on syllabus, it will download a copy of my syllabus. So just it's not as ideal. I personally like to not make it to an image. I like to put it in text on the page because then the student will be able to click on a preview to see what the image looks like, to see what the syllabus looks like. So let's say I want this as the home page for my course. If I go home, this is my home page, right? Right now it's just an activity stream, so as different things are taking place in the course, this home page will definitely change. But as I told you at the beginning, I can change my home page or customize the home page to whatever I want. I could have it be that assignments list that I showed you earlier. I could take students directly to modules, or I could design a blank page. I can make my syllabus. I'm going to make it be my syllabus. Now when students come into my course, this is what they would see. On the home page. Okay? So in terms of students finding out what is due and when, all you need to do is create those assignments, discussions, quizzes, and add due dates, and they will be able to see it on the syllabus page and on the calendar. And then they can also go into their grades or grade book, and they can see the information there. And the organized content is in modules. And then most people like to do to organize their information. I'll just show you my course to make it a little bit easier since we're recording a 2-hour recording. We have 5 minutes left for this session, so based on when we started. So you notice here that I've created a module. All you do is click Create a Module. It creates a module heading for you. And then click on the plus. Clicking plus, you'll add assignments, discussions, quizzes, files. So that's why I was telling you guys the value of first adding your course files, your discussions, assignments, quizzes, and pages. Because once those have been added, then you can create your modules and organize a workflow for your students. So they know that they're welcome they're going to learn what is Canvas. And then they're going to learn that you just, in a linear fashion, just move right down through the content until that they can't get into week 2 and met the prerequisite for week 1. I mean, they have to complete all of the requirements for week 1. So what is actually required? Well, now you'll notice that there are no requirements here. They're just showing items for them to complete for week 2, but there's no requirements. What a requirement is it's that small text below those items that you see. For example, the student has to submit this writing assignment before they can move on. Here they have to submit the bio pretest before they can move on. So their requirements are aligned with completing week 1. Once all of those requirements are met, 1 is considered to be done, and then week 2 would open. And students would be able to see week 2. They just wouldn't be able to access or complete any of these items. They would see what's there. Now, some teachers don't like that. They don't want students to even see week 2. And can unpublish week 2, and that means students would not see the week 2. Now, all the items in week 2 are still published, but the students are not seeing them. It's just completely blank on the student side. And the teacher might go in and manually publish the content so that they can say, okay, week 2 is open, you guys are ready to go in, and you can. The other way that you can access that, these modules are very flexible in the control it allows you. I can edit week 2, and I can lock it. Even though a student might completely finish all of the requirements for week 1, I still don't want them going ahead. I still don't want them getting into week 2 until the date that I specify at a specific time. And that way it allows me to keep everybody in the class on the same page. And it depends on your class style type. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's a bad thing. So, but just know that the controls are there for you if you desire to have more control. So the last thing the last 2 things I'm going to show you is organization of the course itself. A lot of times you don't want students to see all of these links on the left side of the screen because something might be redundant and sometimes a little confusing, and you don't want them to have 100 different ways to get to the same thing. So what I like to do is hide some of these items in my navigation. And what I did is I came to settings and then came here to navigation. Now, I'm going to use announcements in my course, and I'm going to use assignments, discussions, and quizzes. But let's say that I'm actually using modules to administer assignments, discussions, and quizzes. So I don't modules and assignments, discussions, and quizzes. I just have modules there. And let's say as I'm getting started using Canvas, maybe I don't want to use collaborations and conferences. Outcomes I'm not ready for yet. We're not going to do chat. Keep attendance there, but the students don't see that. That's just for me. Remember, I set my home page as the syllabus, so that would be redundant if they also saw the syllabus page. The home page is the syllabus. I have a link to grades on the home screen or on the syllabus page, so I don't need to have grades there. Or maybe want it there. Same with pages. I use pages in the modules. I don't tend to have access to people, my files. So after I'm done with that, I click on Save. Now notice that all the areas on the left, or all areas that are in bold, are what students will see, and all of the grayed out areas they will not see. Now I'm seeing announcements in modules right now because I don't have any announcements in modules, so that they wouldn't see it. But that gray colored text is indicating that students will have access to see those areas. Doesn't mean that you can't use them. Don't be to think that because they're grayed out you can't use them. I do have all of this content, but I just want to administer that content through modules. The students can easily see their expectations this way instead of in 10 different tabs on the left. Okay? So that's the way that you can organize your course navigation to create a simple workflow for the students. So if I come back here, I think I should change it up for me a little bit. What the student's seeing right now is that home screen. This is student view. Oh, maybe that's why the student couldn't, because they didn't accept the invitation to the course. Back into that assignment and see if I can actually submit it now. There it is. Okay, so this is a perfect segue into the last thing I wanted to show you, which is grading. So let's say that the student went into their assignment, they click on Submit Assignment, and not to enable these because it's really confusing to the student. If you're doing a 2 to 3 page paper, then just allow file upload. Don't have all the other ones because it'll confuse them. But that's what it would look like if you choose other types. I'm in here, file that I want to submit. Oh, one. Okay. And then just to add a comment. So what about this? You know, or can you check this out and let me know if I'm on the right track? Submit assignment. It then gives them their submission details. Also shows them that they added a comment to the teacher. If they can resubmit the assignment, the teacher would be notified if it was late. So I've shown you guys how to organize your course. So the last thing I want to show you how to do is to deal with grades. The way to do that is go into your grade book by clicking the grades link in the course navigation on the left. I can see here that a student has submitted the assignment. What access this assignment is to go to the assignment itself. And just like the student sees a link over here to submit the assignment, the teacher would see a link up there that says Speed Grader. So that's another way you can get to the assignment. Or I just go to grades because it shows me all my assignments. And the different groupings on how I'm grading. So these are totals for the assignment groups on how I'm grading students. And lots of different options for the gradebook. We don't have time to get into all of them, but the thing that you'll want to do at the end of the semester is treat ungraded as 0, meaning if you have graded a student because they haven't turned something in, that will sweep your gradebook and turn all of the items that have not been graded into 0s. For each individual assignment, it creates a column in the gradebook. And you can go into SpeedGrader to actually do your grading. So this is just a column. You can't see what the submissions are in the gradebook because it's just like a spreadsheet, right? You can't see the content. You just see the grades. And that's what it's designed to be. But SpeedGrader is the tool we provide that helps you actually do the grading of the assignments your students submit. I want to send a message to all of my students who haven't submitted yet. Canvas automatically queries who hasn't submitted yet. Just that Joel is the name of the student that submitted, and that student is not appearing in here because they have already submitted. Or I can send a message to those I haven't graded yet and say, hey, I should be doing your grading this weekend. Stay tuned. Or scored less than 20, I might say, hey, you might want to resubmit your assignment for a chance to get a little bit of a better grade. Or those students that did a really good job, anybody that scored 38 or more, it will see who those students are. And it sends a private message to them. So this is kind of like a BCC. They don't know that you're sending it to other students as well. You're seeing that message through the gradebook, but it's actually being stored up in your inbox and in a conversation with that individual. I come to individual students. As I mouse over their cell in the gradebook, click on the little comment icon, and I can see that Joel Hazel asked a question, and I could say, here's my answer. So I could have a conversation with him about his assignment. And then that student had their notifications turned on. They might have just got a tweet right now that said, hey, your teacher just responded to you in one of your assignments. And just be able to see that in their submission details. So there was my comment as a student, and then the teacher responded, here's my answer. Okay? So again, back to grading. When it's time to grade, and this is what we will end with, is using the SpeedGrader to grade your students' responses. And that way we've gone full swing. I've shown you guys how to design the course, what it's like to a student when they're actually submitting the assignment, and then how the teacher ultimately grades the assignment. So pull down into the speed grader, and one thing I actually encourage people to do before grading is I like to mute my assignments because I don't want students to be notified that I just finished their grading until I've graded everyone. So that's exactly what muting the assignment will do. It keeps everything quiet. No notifications will go out until you're finished doing all grade for that assignment. And then you can unmute it and everybody gets notified. Okay, I'm looking now at a list of all my students here in the top left corner. I can toggle between students by clicking the arrows, going back and forth. If you're using the iPad app, it's really nice. Once you're done grading one student, you just tap your finger and swipe to the left, and it will take you to the next student's assignment. So by the way, there is a free iPad app. It's called SpeedGrader for iPad. Unfortunately, it's not available for Android right now, but it is in the plans for the future. But if iPad, this is a great tool. A lot of people love it. All right, so what it's doing is giving me an inline preview of the student's assignment. Using the Crocodoc tool, you have the ability to come up here to the left and comment on the student's assignment. You can give area comments on a certain portion, and it adds your comment out to the side. And one of my favorites is the text comment, because you might want to comment on a certain sentence that I have. Great observation. Now, this isn't the best paper that I have this to submit, but I'm showing you how these different things work. And maybe I'll use a different highlight color. So the beautiful thing about this is everything that you used to be able to do with paper when you're assessing a student, you can do digitally, but your handwriting looks a whole lot better than it probably did when you were doing it on paper. At least it does look better than mine. You can also point to certain areas if you want to draw attention to something, or if you want to go old school and give them that A+ or something, you can even draw that on the page. Okay. You can even add text in the page and strike out and give the reason why you're striking out their text, or hey, that's not necessary. So I can adjust the reason and maybe give them the reason right there. So very robust in how you can interact with the students and communicate with them using the commenting tool. Be aware this Crocodoc annotation tool is not available on the SpeedGrader app for iPad. It is only available on the web interface. Okay. But when it comes time to actually grading, okay, all I've done at this point is give comments and feedback to the student. But grading, remember I told you your life is going to become real easy if you use the rubrics. And this is why. Because I come here and say, oh, there were 3 spelling errors, so I give them 7 points there. They did a job on this one, great here, and great here. But actually, they didn't do perfect on this one. Maybe instead of giving them 8 points, I'll give them 9 points. So you can actually manually come in here and change these scores as well. Okay. So when I choose 9, it's not actually highlighting one of those criterion or those rating levels because 9 is not one of those possible options. But I tell them why I docked points. Okay, there's a comment for each one of these items. So again, we're giving you the ability to be very transparent with your students. Now, this student is going to receive a 36 out of 40. So I'll save, and Cam will take that 36 out of 40, again, doing all the work, doing all the math, and puts it right up here for me. Based upon, remember, for this assignment, I chose a grading scheme, a letter grade. So it looks at my grading scheme and says, based upon this grading scheme, what should this student receive? A 36 out of 40 happens to be percentage-wise an A-, and so it automatically assigns the A-. Again, I don't have to do any calculation or tabulation. It's all done for me in the SpeedGrader. Okay, and I might want to give a final comment to the student. And what teachers really love about this commenting area is the Me Comment tool, because when analyzing a paper, a lot of times teachers like to give verbal comments to a student, but they don't have time to call each student in and meet with them. But with the media comment tool, they do. They can click allow, show their webcam, or just do an audio recording and say, hey student, I just wanted to let you know that your paper looked great overall. In paragraph 2, I noticed that you started talking about this, and you know, I can't help but mention that you should know that that's not correct because of this, and right, and so the teacher would have the ability to personalize comments and do it within a matter of a couple short moments, rather than having to type it all out. They click save, and the student will have a media comment from the teacher as well. Once it's done, they click on submit, and then the grading is done for the student. Now ready, and once the grading is done with that check mark, we're going to move on to the next student by clicking the arrow. And we can see that this student hasn't submitted anything. That's the basics of using SpeedGrader. Once I'm done with grading all students, I can go to the gradebook or mute the assignments here. And now, like I said earlier, that student Jordan might be out at the mall with his friends, or he might be at a sports event or something, and he gets a little vibe in his pocket. And he's out his phone, and it says, you know, maybe he has a private Facebook message from his teacher that says, your paper was just graded. And he can click that link directly into Canvas. Depending on his notification preferences are set up, he might even see his score without having to go to Canvas. So it's very powerful, that notification integration with Canvas. But that was content to cover. Are there any questions about any of the things that we reviewed today?
I think I'll just now go and get started.
That's it.
And that is my final recommendation is don't wait a day. If you guys can, get into Canvas tonight. If you have courses already, I recommend that you go in and practice the things that we've shared with you. Kim, one thing I can do for you as well is I give you a link to a course that I created. Actually, I can just show you guys right now. And it's called a Canvas Strategies course. But if you go to j.mp/Canvas Strategies, no spaces or caps, j.mp/Canvas Strategies, what that will.
Also email that link, please.
Yes, definitely. Okay, here is what happens if you go to that link. Anyone is welcome to join it, so all of you teachers can join it as well. It's meant to be more of a help for administrators that are implementing Canvas, but you can join the course, and then if you've joined it, let me just log in. This is just kind of an overview of the kinds of things you'll find in here. Here we go. So on the home page of that course, again, of course, this we're looking at right now is just a content page that I created. I put images on it. I made some GIFs and put those on the front page. But what you'll notice is under downloads and resources from Instructor, we designed some course setup checklists to be helpful for you guys as you're getting started building your first Canvas courses. And these are actually course setup checklists that I've designed. So you click on Course Setup Checklist, and this little GIF here shows you how you can basically save them into your own Google Drive. Hopefully you have a Google Drive account. If you don't, you can create one. It's free. But if you just want to get started with a very basic checklist, go here. Okay, and gives you a step-by-step to get started. And this is exactly what I went through with you guys today. Import files and organizing your files. Once you have those in your course, you want to customize the navigation, or how does it look? What does your home page look like? You can also create your assignments, discussions, and quizzes, create your syllabus, and adjust the gradebook. Now, this doesn't go into modules at all, so if you wanted to try out the modules, you might want to try an advanced checklist. The advanced checklist goes into more details on how to create modules and add other content. But the thing about this is these links that you find on this document, for one, you can print it off and like check the box or check the bubbles as you go. Also, there are links. So how do you customize your course homepage? And then link you directly to a guide article that teaches you how to update your course homepage. So you see, you have the steps of what to do, and then if you forget how to do it, you don't have to come back and watch this whole webinar that we've recorded. You can just click the links. And even better, if you want to know how to adjust your course settings, we didn't have to go into all of the course settings, but you want to know how to do it, just click on that video icon. And all of the items, but as you can see, most of them do have videos associated with them, so you can watch a quick video that teaches you how to manage your course settings in Canvas. This is a longer one, 7 minutes long, but I will give you a link to this course, and you guys can all join it, and then you can download this and save it as your own document if you want. If you're logged into your own Google Drive, notice I'm not logged into Google Drive right now, but if I were logged into Google Drive, you'll see an option here to make a copy. All you would need to do is click Make a Copy, and it will copy this into your own Google Drive. Or you can just use it directly on this page. Everything is still clickable, all the links and everything, so it's still just as valuable. But hopefully, if you guys have your courses, this might be something that can help you get your feet wet and start building content in your Canvas courses. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks for your time and letting me share the session with you. I will send a follow-up email with a link to this training recording, and I'll also give you a link to this strategies course so that you guys can, if you want, you can go in and download some of the resources like that course setup checklist.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much.
All right, welcome. Good luck as you guys begin using Canvas.
Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
It's on our website, Wiley's College.
Well, if you are a certified online teacher, you will have a copy. She sent it to you so long.